Hi guys, now I'm going to teach you in this section what exactly the testing responsive website. So you must heard about this term, like in this picture you will be able to see the different devices like the desktop look and feel, and then the mobile look and feel, and then the tablet look and feel. So the customer would like to ask you this question, that I need to have a responsive website and the application should work properly in all the different devices now. So how we can ensure this thing, being as a software quality assurance manual tester? Let's look in detail. After this sections, you will be able to understand the responsive website testing and the responsive web design, what exactly the mean of the responsive web design, and then the importance of responsive web testing, the operating system and the browser support, the rules of testing responsive websites. So these are the learning objectives you will learn. Trainee will be able to perform responsive web testing on any live projects now. So first of all, you need to understand about the front end testing in a design company. So let's say you will be able to see the web technology, understand what is the possible way to transfer from design to developer product. The color, shading, gradient are consistent, and you need to make sure that with palms of the screen, check for correct padding around the edges of the screen, like the look and feel should be properly aligned, the text, images, controls, frames do not run into the edges of the screen, and the text control and images are aligned properly. You will be able to see, like in this illustration, your design should be elegant and should have all these things as described in the text. Now the question is, what is the responsive web design? The responsive web design is an approach to design the web application aimed to crafting the sites to provide an optimal viewing experience. This means like the easy reading and navigating with the minimal of the resizing, panning and scrolling, and across a wide range of devices like from desktop, computer monitors and mobiles. Everything look and feel should be consistent. So if you see in this image, the website look and feel on the large screen, the desktop, then the tablets, then the mobiles, different devices. So your website should work in all the devices. So being as a tester, if your website is not properly presenting in front of different devices, so being as a software quality assurance manual tester, you need to report, and you need to raise your red flags and report directly to the management and the development team that please fix these issues. Why responsive testing? Because many people nowadays use their mobile phones or tablets to access websites. So testing is a responsive web design. It's extremely important, I would like to say, because the user experience on mobile devices is quite different from the desktop. And majority of the times you never ever having a prediction like if your website is properly working fine on your desktop, you have a perception that it should work on the mobile. So being as a tester, you need to validate everything, and then possibly the most challenging part of the testing responsive website is making sure that website work as expected on the multiple devices and platform, but actually being tested on the mobile devices in the market is not practical for most of us. Responsive website design is a way that how your website design, layout, HTML, CSS are displayed and get adjusted as the actual device sizes across different resolutions. So the programmer who using these technology, being as a tester, you just not to worry about the HTML and CSS, but you as a tester highly concerned about the resolutions and the different screens, as you can see in the below image, should have the consistency, and this will require an adaptable version for the different platforms such as the desktop, tablet, smartphones, keeping the focus on the most important elements. Pages should be readable at all the resolution. Device rotation, if the device rotation from the landscape to the horizontal and the vertical, so the website should work properly and should be consistent, and the content check needs to be visible in all the screen different sizes and the resolutions, their alignments, their sizes. The maximum characters and the end of the sentences with the dot should display now. See this example. So this is the Android 4.4 portrait mode. So let's say in the previous old version of Android version, you will be able to see the issues in this mobile application. As you can see that the text is cutting the edges and not properly aligned, the labels not properly aligned. So these are the real-time bugs. So being as a tester, you need to report and you need to say that, let's say for this version, the application is not showing the expected result as per the client requirement. And you need to request to the development team that they need to fix these issues and make the design consistent. Another example in iPhone 5.8.1.3, the previous version, let's say the client has the requirement that application should work, but here you can see in the red box again the alignment is out of order. So this is the another example of your responsive website testing. And this is the perfect the layout. As you can see that now in the tablet it's properly showing. Now this is the iPad minimum view, but here you will be able to see the text should be readable and all the other stuff needs to be as per the client requirement. Again, you need to make sure that operating system browser supports. You need to ask the customers that what are the browsers you are expecting us to do the testing, and what are the browsers you are looking for the testing activities. And you must have the crystal clear about that what are the resolutions you supposed to do the testing, either 1024 multiplied by 768 or above or less. Everything you need to ask before starting the software testing. And as already told you this thing about the real-time devices, always have a good practice that you need to test on the real devices. And because the real devices will always give you the better result instead of using the cloud devices now. And the technique is adequate for a quick visually check website in a different view of ports, helps us to identify the major rendering issues as we shrink or enlarge the browser window now. So the testing on the real mobile devices is a totally different experience. As you know that having gesture like finger swipes and tapping, the pinch to zoom, portrait or landscape, all things you need to understand. Likewise on the desktop you have edge hovering, right click and mouse scroll, etc. Another example like using the emulators or how to test the responsive website. Emulator is basically a mobile emulator is a web-based simulation of how website and application will appear and function on mobile environments. You can download this, Android emulator from the Google. We all want support as many devices as possible. Buying or using third-party services to gain the real devices can be useful for seeing how a web application functions in real-world conditions, but it is significantly more expensive and more difficult to scale using emulators. So Google DevTools device mod you will be able to see here, and then you can go with the DevTool has a feature device mode that's loaded with helpful tool for the testing and debugging the responsive design. Unlike most of the other responsive design testing tools, which simply resize your viewpoint. So device mode actually I would like to say emulates the mobile device experience, particularly the touch screen basically. Interaction like tapping, swapping right in the your web browser. So the tools features you need to have in your mind that test your responsive design by emulating the different screen sizes and the resolution including retina display. So the more details you will be able to get the information from the iOS platform, what exactly the retina display, their requirements before uploading the application on the app store. So emulator your site performance using the network emulator without affecting traffic to the other tabs. CSS media queries enhance your current debugging and workflow combination device mode with the extensive development tool. The general rule for responsive testing is these are the things you must validate in the responsive testing, like text, controls, images, they should be aligned properly. Edge over when you are keeping your mouse above the text, this is just like I am doing now. So there should be selection state highlighted and the color changes. Then the suitable clickable area, color, shading, grading are consistent, and the check for correct padding around the edges, as I told you in the previous example. Then text, images, controls, frames do not run into the edges of the screen. So these are the one of the most important part of responsive test design you need to validate. General rule of software testing: responsive design, font sizes, color are consistent for each type of text. Text area, data entry, scroll and display are properly aligned. Pages should be readable on all the resolution. And never visualize the horizontal bar in the page. Then the content defined important need to be visible in all the breakpoints, and the breakpoints means that each breakpoint require an adaptation of the layout with modules that change their position and rules. Another possibility is to have the flood layout with text and images that fits appropriate in the relation to the width of the page. So that's all about the responsive testing. I hope you understand how to perform the responsive testing. So happy testing. Wish you good luck for your future endeavors. Looking forward to another session.